What's up, guys? We're back over here at the Risinger build and Trent with Timber Builders, and these guys have been making a heck of a lot of progress over here. Trent, it's looking fantastic.
Thank you.
I mean, this is really quite an amazing spread for a house, sharing the shop with the living. Tell us about how this project's been going, because it's really looking good.
We've been plugging away. We got all of the exterior walls done, all of the interior walls done. We got our roof put on, our roof decked. We're about to show you all of that.
Yeah, there's really not much more framing left to do, is it? Other than phase 2, where you're going to come back after the trades.
Yeah, in phase 2, we come back after the trades and we put the other side of the wall paneling up, and then we finish it with our final paneling.
Well, guys, we're going to walk through this project again, give you a little bit more of the overlay of it, as well as show you a little bit of the progress that's going on the roof. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Let's get it going. All right, this is the front entry for this beautiful home.
Yeah, so we're gonna have a big door here with windows on the side.
Like a side lights. Cool, and man, look at this ceiling we got in here. This is quite a grand entrance.
It's a little tall.
Yeah.
So this is our feature wall here, and there'll be a different pattern up through the middle. You can see the beams are in now, and the roof deck, which is also part of the roof structure.
So last time I was here, this wall was here, and you guys were installing this back wall, which was a pretty amazing sight to see, if I don't say so myself.
Yeah, you don't get to see a 40 by 23 foot wall fly over a house every day.
Pick it up, let's set it on the other side of the house. Yeah. All the windows, everything was already done. I mean, this is what I really feel like completes the interest for me, is seeing these beautiful beams come across, which really, I feel like, embodies a similar feel to the steel world, which we've used on a daily basis for many years. And this has got that same appeal to it. So what is the spread? What is the span as far as between posts? And what are we looking at here up top?
So again, it's all the mass ply LVL mass ply light. We've got a little over 8 foot spread in the bays, and then the span is about 32 feet, 32 and some change.
Wow.
So yeah.
32 feet, and how deep are these beams?
These are 18 inches.
Cool.
So it's 5 inches wide by 18 inches deep.
And now you can see the main support here as it comes up, and last time we shared a lot of details about the wall system and the strength that it provides, but where you got this main post sits, you've got your hold downs, you got the special Simpson anchors, and then I know you got some different finishes that's going to happen inside the walls, but you're basically using the same materials that we have here, and you're taking it horizontal on the roof lines.
And all the beams in the house went in one day, and a lot of that's thanks to the amazing, connectors from the hidden beam connectors from Simpson. It's a milled aluminum, and they just slide together.
Yeah.
We put a couple of
I know those are
anchoring screws in, and then it's solid.
I know those are a little pricey, but do you have any more of those laying around with you?
Yeah, I know, right?
Probably not, right? You used them all?
We've had a lot of feedback about that. They are expensive, but not relatively.
Yeah.
If you take into account that they fit perfect every time, everything goes up really quick.
Yeah.
They're easy to fabricate at the end of the beam. It ends up being a bit of a wash over something that's more of like a traditional mortise and tenon beam.
Now tell me about the fastening of that, because I guess because I read through some of the comments too, some of the questions people have are, why does that beam not go past the column and sit on top of the column?
Because we designed the house to have a sealed envelope. So if we had a vented house, for instance, then we could take that beam past and it would form our overhang and everything. But because we did the Monopoly style framing where everything is sealed tight, we sealed every edge of the building, and the WRB gives us our
complete wrap.
Yep, our complete wrap and our air barrier. And then even the bottom, you'll notice down here, since this wasn't done before, we seal this again.
Oh yeah.
There, and it's sealed under here, so this is an airtight barrier on the bottom as well.
That's a really nice detail, and two, I mean, There's so many different ways you can do things, but if you've got the fasteners and they are engineered, let's not make a big fuss out of that, right? Like, I think that they're pretty sweet, actually.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're ever putting some kind of a joist like that in place, how convenient it would be to have that at your disposal.
So the living room is over here. This is the kitchen and dining area. And then we've got a huge pantry and a huge laundry room.
Yeah, and I mean, we did a little bit of walking through. We didn't really show layout, but I'm sure this is going to make a lot more sense later. But now, what is this you said?
So this is a utility room. So rather than finishing the other side with 1.5 inches, we're just going to be using 1/2-inch birch.
Okay.
So it's not going to have a real pattern to it. It'll be the 4x8 1/2-inch birch. So it needed some extra nailers.
And what gives us so much strength for this spot is we have the 1.5 inch board on this side. Because if we didn't have that, then obviously.
And that board actually sandwiches in the beam. So we have columns.
Okay.
And then beams that sit directly on top of the columns, and there's not a big fancy metal connector there. It's just 4 screws.
Yeah.
But then it also gets sandwiched in by the panel.
Sweet.
So it's being held in by the panel, and you have a compositing effect, which is the combination of this 3x3 column and this 1.5 inch panel.
Awesome. Now, we may have talked about this last time I visited here, but tell us, you're using some standard open web trusses here. Can you tell us what the reason is for that here?
We've got a lot of HVAC to run through here. So it was the simplest and easiest route to just go with the open web trusses.
Absolutely.
You know, we kind of ran out of time to innovate.
Okay.
So
you couldn't invent everything.
I know, right? But
I mean, sometimes you got to work with gravity here. This was the best decision.
and they're tried and true. So and they're readily available.
And
so
engineered.
Yeah, and they're engineered, and so we'll be able to run all of our HVAC through here. You won't see really any ductwork. This house has everything hidden.
Okay.
You know, you could just as easily expose the ductwork and not have the trusses, and that would have looked great too.
But it is probably worth noting that even though you're using the open web truss here, that's probably the only product that is not LVL.
It's the only product in the house, other than the columns on the porch, that isn't the mass ply.
When it comes to framing.
Yeah. The one thing I'll point out that you don't see in this room is a vent.
Yeah. Okay.
So the owners have opted for a ventless dryer.
Awesome.
And then that way we aren't having to use any add air or anything like that.
Makeup. Cool. So here we go through the laundry room to this enormous size.
It's a garage. It's just a garage.
Just a little garage.
Yeah. No, this is a beautiful shop.
Yeah. Amazing.
And it really highlights the beauty of the materials and the strength of the materials. This is a 40-foot span. You know, very few beams, and then you can really see how this decking spans that so well.
And what do we have here? Because I know this is, what did you say earlier, 40-something foot span. And so these are about, what, 24 inches?
These are 24-inch deep beams.
Nice.
Same width, 5 inches, 24 inches deep. And this really shows off on our columns. You know, the biggest reason those columns over there are so big is because of the height. But
Oh, yeah.
And not just the height, but the free span height without any supporting members. 5x5 columns are more than strong enough to hold the entire roof structure.
Yeah, it's just amazing. Mass ply in a mass presentation.
Check out these
now,
stairs.
One interesting fact you told me is this currently like the largest mass ply project for residential?
This is the largest residential mass timber project in the U.S. right now.
Wow. If you haven't ever built stairs before, what is it like building it here with LVL?
You know, these are utilitarian.
Yeah.
I know that's funny to say, but, you know, we didn't do any fancy woodworking on this. You know, we really used super strong materials in a very simple way. You know, that's one of the things that the owner wanted in this shop, is he didn't want anything to be too fancy and just to let the material speak for itself. Yeah. So, you know, we were able to get a couple of extra 24-inch deep beams, and then we had some extra 5-inch material. So these are 5-inch solid wood stair treads.
Yeah.
And the runners are 5-inch by 24-inch LVL.
Massive support. and super strong, just walking up and down it. Now, is there going to be a railing here, or are we going to kind of go with this look?
No, there's going to be a railing. We haven't finalized with the owner what they want to see for the look of the railing. They wanted to see the stairs done first. You know, the most exciting thing about this is a relatively not expensive staircase.
Yeah.
You know, you can build a staircase cheaper out of 2x material, but in general, this isn't like a 3x type of cost. This is more like a 1.5x type of cost.
As a builder, I mean, looking at it, it just looks so simple. I know it's nothing is as easy as it looks, but it looks so simple in design, and I'm sure laying it out is a lot easier than laying out building regular stairs, right? Because you're able to kind of go between here and attach this stuff together.
Yeah, and these stairs are just attached with cleats.
Yeah.
So, you know, we could have gone and gotten crazy and mortised all of this in, but the cleats are going to be just as good. And then we have these Simpson screws in through the ends. These are the SDWS screws from Simpson Strong Tie.
Amazing.
And I mean, they're more than durable enough, and more than strong enough to hold.
And this is really your 1-2 punch for this whole house, isn't it?
Yeah.
Some of that, some of these.
Yep. Mass by Light and Simpson Strong Tie.
It's amazing.
And rock wool.
Yeah.
You know, but we really tried to keep the types of materials as simplistic as possible.
Yeah.
You know, we have 5-inch material, 3-inch material, and 1.5-inch material, and that's it.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, because on your outside walls, you are using that. And then on some of the interior walls, you're using a 3-inch. What are we looking at in this?
This is the mezzanine area. So this was gained space. So, you know, originally it was planned that this was going to be vaulted and maybe house some mechanicals. And, you know, so we designed a spiral staircase that's going to go over there. And then this is going to be like a library in the den.
Because this was going to be sort of a study area down below, right?
Yeah, this is the den.
The den.
Yeah,
Okay.
I always wanted to design a den. Yeah, so this is just a temporary safety rail. There'll be a nice railing built here. We have another little mechanical room here.
Okay.
They're using mini splits throughout the house. So
Awesome.
So, you know, there's mechanical rooms sort of scattered in a bunch of different places to hide all that equipment. So now you can get up real close and see this connection. It's just a little slot through there.
Yeah.
And this will get a little plug.
Yeah, so that's where you had to modify your beam to where it receives that.
Yeah, they router out the end, and we install it on the end of the beam and then onto the column, and everything gets mounted.
Sets into place. Fantastic. Yeah, you can see it right there. This is just pretty amazing to have this big open area. Now, I know you're going to have a divider between this area and the other one over there when it's all said and done. And you've got exterior insulation covered. Do you know if there's going to be any additional insulation on the interior?
No, right now, as of right now, we opt not to. We're exploring possibly whether or not they want to add bats to the interior, but it's not really necessary. It's kind of like it's above and beyond what's required.
Right, you're meeting code on the exterior, and it's kind of one of those value things, right? Like, what is it? How far does the client want to go? I'm just curious, like room to room, if they might do a little bit on that. But,
I think we're going to add some bat material just next to the bedroom.
okay.
Just for
Cool.
soundproofing. That's the Safe and Sound from Rockwool here.
Now this is your open wall. This is kind of what we're seeing, the beauty here. Now this is an interior wall that does have the 5.5-inch thickness, and you're carrying some of this main support, which I'm assuming this goes up to your roof line, right?
This is a king post load bearing
Okay.
column. So this is the one column in this side of the house that goes all the way to the roof, and we'll go up there and take a look at that. It's a really cool it's a really cool beam.
Yeah. Now you're using these fasteners all throughout on all of the interior walls as well. So what is do we have some kind of modeling as far as wind ratings on this build?
170.
170. Wow. You know how in storms they tell you to go hide under the stairs? Well, this is the stairs.
Yeah.
So just letting you know.
Let's go up here.
So where are we at now, Trent?
We are in the other utility space, the attic.
Okay.
But it's all conditioned. and it'll.
And look at a clearance that you have.
Oh yeah, even I mean you can go quite a ways. This is the roof deck. We have a beam from the front of the house coming up to that king post.
Okay.
And then it travels this way, and you don't see those every day. And that's a moment connection where the pitch changes on the roof.
Okay. And a lot of fasteners.
It's about 80 bolts.
For that.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And we custom fab that in our fab shop on a CNC. And then there's a metal knife blade in through the middle, and it matches up perfectly with all the holes that are cut in the wood. And that's why it's able to sit flush on the bottom of these beams at the exact pitch that we needed.
Gotcha. So if you were doing a gable, that's sort of what it would look like, right, on every one?
That's exactly what the gable would look like, yeah.
So that's pretty cool. Actually, you could span further if this had been gabled.
Oh, yeah.
And you would have been able to get 70-something feet easily.
Probably.
Yeah. Because front to back on the single slope is 70 rough feet, something like that, 72 feet. So now, are there going to be, really, if you're doing, you guys are going to do like mini splits or something?
This is a very usable space. They're putting a magic stair in so that you're going to be able to use this for storage. You know, storage is at a premium in this house because, you know, there's going to be a lot of open area. So having a place to store things is really meaning they don't have to go and get a storage garage somewhere.
All right, well, we're up here on top of the world, pretty much, when you talk about where we're located.
Oh, you can't get a better view than that. That's priceless right there.
I mean, this is phenomenal. I mean, it makes you want to build a deck or something to keep it going, right?
Yeah.
But you got to stop somewhere. So let's talk about some of the stages, Trent, of where we're at here. We know we got those huge panels, but I guess let's give them a little groundwork here. What's going on here?
So like the beams that we saw underneath, on top of that comes our panels. And these are 32 foot by 4 foot, 1.5 inch panels for our, but it's both structure and decking.
Yeah.
So those are 8 foot on center, and there's a beam there and there's a beam there, and like there's no deflection. Yeah. It's not bouncy at all. It's super strong, and it cantilevers all the way out 4 foot. So that last 4 foot, that's what these are. These are strong backs. So they're holding that last panel up entirely. That last panel is completely held up by these, and you know it's very strong.
Because that's because you're kind of furring your overhang out. Now above, which works really good in this case because you're adding all that insulation on top too. So it allows you that ability to kind of bury that into the roof.
Yeah, it'll have a real clean look on the bottom.
Cool.
So after we deck it, then we put our WRB. You can see we're just rolling it one more time. And this is by Dorkin. It's called Delta Vent SA. And on the leading edge, there's another adhesion strip. It's all peel and stick, and everything gets covered in a shingled fashion. So we start at the bottom and we work our way up.
Yeah, and
everything is overlapped 6 inches.
This is that beautiful product that we were using on the walls last time I was here, and the guys were laying all this out on the ground. And this is still fairly easy to lay, probably, even though it's windy.
Yeah, this whole section of the roof is 40 by 64, and it took about an hour and a half.
So now let's show them the next stage once you get all your insulation.
Yep.
So
over here, we've got 2 layers of 3-inch comfort board 110 from Rockwool. So if you look over here, we have your WRB. This is the ridge. Then you've got 2 layers of insulation and then an inch furring strip. And what's great is these furring strips are also made out of the same material, the LVL material. So it's much stronger than your typical pine furring strips that you'll get. And they're also, you know, our yield on our material was almost 100% because we didn't have any warped boards, we didn't have any twisted boards, no boards are broken in half. So it's a really high quality product, and you end up getting a very high yield. And you'll notice when I step on this,
Yeah.
it doesn't. I'm no small guy, Josh.
Yeah.
You know, and it doesn't compress. This Comfort Board 110 from Rockwell is just really impressive.
Yeah.
And then
I'm glad you did that, because that was one of the things that I feel like is pretty impressive.
yeah, I love working with this material. And the fasteners that we use from Simpson, they hold it down, but it's not like compressing. It's not like compressing the insulation.
Yeah.
So it's almost like it suspends these boards above that and
Got you.
contains them. And
But it's also holding to the bottom as well, which
Mhm.
is going to eliminate maybe any additional worry you'd have about around your seams, things like that, because you're really bridging across all of it.
correct. And we take it at a diagonal so that water flows, but we also have the structure that the roof needs.
And it looks like you're doing this, what is that, 16 inches on center, or is
It's
that
12
inches? Wow,
inches on center.
nice.
12 3/4 specifically, but yeah. So pretty soon after this side gets the rest of the WRB in, then we'll be bringing in the insulation. They're going to start bringing the insulation over there in a moment and start that process up through there,
Yeah.
so that it looks just like this.
It's pretty cool we were able to get on the roof and survey some of the progress. Trent was taking a call, but I'll tell you guys a little bit about it. One cool thing about it is they got the rain screen, and this is going on more of a 45 angle, I think, which allows, like, if there was any water, it just allows the continuous drainage. And those are like 1.5 inch strips of LVL material that are running down across there. But you can see the continuation on the wall, and they were able to fill in all the gaps around the windows with the insulation, on below. Let's tell them a little bit about this porch here, which is super high.
It is. So one of the things in this house that we tried to do is we tried to continue roof lines, so we didn't have a bunch of different roof lines. So the eave on both sides starts at 12 feet, and this just happens to be where that picks up on the 212 pitch, and then it goes all the way up.
Well, this has been an awesome time to be able to come back here, and we so much appreciate Reisinger Build and Timber Builder and Trent Depp for letting us come back and visit this site, because you guys have made some fast progress. And it's really amazing to see, I feel like, this whole format of how the system is being put together. From my standpoint, it's like you wish you could just go to the store, grab some of the materials, and start doing some of that. And I know that you guys are working on the availabilities as well for our area and our territory, which may already be readily available if somebody was interested in building.
We're ready to build a lot more houses here in Texas. So
Yeah.
we've got about 10 under contract and looking for more.
Awesome. Well, this is the Mass Ply Light project in Dripping Springs, Texas. It's been our pleasure to hang out with you, Trent. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Yeah, and if you guys haven't already subscribed, please do that now. Also, we're going to put links in the description below for all these great products we're using, as well as Timber Builders and Trent's information and Reisinger Build. So if you guys are not following them, please do that now. I'm Josh Helm. This is Trent Depp. We're wishing you all the best. Thanks for watching Texas Best.
Oh yeah, Texas Best.